When the courtroom doors closed, Alex Murdaugh's story didn't end. It just moved somewhere darker. For nearly 2 years now, Alex Murdaugh has been living inside one of South Carolina's toughest prisons, McCormick Correctional Institution. A place where silence carries tension, and where one wrong glance can get you hurt. Every morning, he wakes up to the same steel bars, the same narrow corridor echoing with distant shouts, and the same reality, that he'll spend the rest of his life behind these walls. But recently, something inside McCormick shifted. Word spread that Murdaugh had caught the attention of a prison gang, one of the most feared ones in America, the Aryan Brotherhood. That's when things got darker, because inside McCormick, survival isn't guaranteed, and Alex Murdaugh is learning that the hard way. McCormick isn't an ordinary facility. It's home to inmates serving life sentences for murder, gang violence, and organized crime. Many of them have nothing to lose, and Alex, a former lawyer, doesn't fit in. Inmates see him as different, a rich man who once used the law as his weapon. Someone who used to stand in courtrooms, not cages. But the real danger began when rumors started spreading that Murdaugh might be cooperating with authorities. That he might have been the one who talked. Inside prison walls, that kind of rumor spreads like wildfire, and it doesn't end well. It's hard to believe that just a few years ago, Alex Murdaugh was standing in front of judges and juries, wearing expensive suits, fighting cases. Now, he wears a tan prison uniform with his ID number stitched on his chest. His double life, as a respected lawyer by day and a fraudster by night, collapsed when he was convicted of murdering his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. The same man who once defended criminals now eats the same food, walks the same halls, and fears the same people. Inside McCormick, his name doesn't carry power anymore. It carries risk that it's poetic and cruel. The man who once sent others to prison is now trapped in one built for survival. A few months back, one of the inmates, a source known only by his nickname Tuck, revealed something interesting. According to him, members of the Aryan Brotherhood approached Murdaugh, offering him a kind of protection deal. In simple terms, you stay close to us, we make sure no one touches you. But Alex refused. And in McCormick, saying no to a gang isn't just a decision, it's a statement. Tuck claimed the gang members didn't take that rejection lightly. They wanted Murdaugh in their circle because of who he was, a high-profile inmate, someone whose name carried media attention. Having him connected, even quietly, could raise their reputation. But when he refused, things got tense. Soon after, Murdaugh was placed under increased security restrictions. Prison officials said it was routine, but other inmates noticed the difference. He was no longer allowed near certain sections of the yard. Meals were delivered separately. Whenever he had to leave his cell for legal meetings, the entire unit went into lockdown. It was like the prison itself had built a wall around him, not to punish him, but to keep him alive. One inmate described it like this: they treat him like glass. One wrong move, he breaks, and they know what'll happen if he does. But the real twist came when officers discovered a contraband phone hidden in his unit. Whispers spread that it belonged to Murdaugh, though no one could prove it. The device reportedly contained text logs, possibly linked to someone outside the prison. Authorities never confirmed it publicly, but inside McCormick, the rumor was enough to spark tension. Because if Murdaugh was communicating with people outside the walls, inmates wanted to know, who was he talking to? Some believed he was reaching out to reporters. Others claimed he was trying to rebuild his connections from the inside. And to the gangs, that kind of secrecy looked dangerous. While Alex kept to himself, the Aryan Brotherhood was quietly expanding inside McCormick. The gang wasn't traditionally active there, but sources said a few transfers from other facilities brought new leadership into the compound. Now, a small faction had formed, enough to control sections of the yard and influence the inmate hierarchy. Their presence created new tension. The Brotherhood thrives on structure, loyalty, and violence when necessary. They recruit based on power, and Alex's refusal made him stand out for the wrong reasons. As one insider put it, you can say no to the Brotherhood once. The second time, they stop asking. So what does Alex do all day now? Sources describe his life as silent, cautious, and repetitive. He spends most hours in his cell, reading legal documents or writing letters related to his appeals. He's lost weight, his hair's thinner. His once confident body language now seems guarded, withdrawn. Some say he barely speaks to anyone except correctional staff. Others believe he's paranoid, always watching his back, always listening for footsteps outside his cell. But there's another theory, one that adds a layer of curiosity. A few inmates believe Murdaugh has a silent deal with the prison administration, that his isolation isn't punishment, but protection from something bigger. Could it be that the state knows there's a target on his back? For the gang's image is everything. Their strength inside any facility depends on fear and dominance. Having someone like Alex, a name known nationwide, publicly under their control would send a message. But Murdaugh's refusal challenged that image. It made him a kind of anomaly, someone who wasn't intimidated even by them. That's why, according to insider reports, his rejection sparked quiet resentment. The Brotherhood might not have acted yet, but inside prison culture, grudges don't fade. They wait, and waiting is what McCormick inmates do best. The most unsettling part is how calm everything seems now. Murdaugh follows routine. He eats, walks, and sleeps. Guards rotate and units shuffle, but under that calm, there's an unease, as if everyone's waiting for something to happen. An inmate described it perfectly. It's like the yard's quiet before the rain. You know something's coming, you just don't know when. That quietness has a weight to it, and Alex feels it every day. Whether it's paranoia or instinct, he senses eyes on him, from the guards, from the gang, from the system itself. Because inside McCormick, no secret stays buried for long. But here's where things take a sharp turn. Just weeks after rejecting the Brotherhood, something happened, something that wasn't supposed to. A strange message reached the outside world, one that hinted at a leak inside McCormick, possibly linked to Alex himself. Who sent it? What did it reveal? And why does it sound like the Aryan Brotherhood might not be done with him yet? That's where the second part of the story begins. The message surfaced quietly, a brief text thread, allegedly sent from inside McCormick. No one knows who sent it, but what it contained left both prison staff and investigators uneasy. It mentioned one name, Alex Murdaugh, and 3 cryptic words: debt, refused, soon. No further context, no signature. But inside the world of prison politics, those words mean something. A debt, inside McCormick, doesn't always refer to money. Sometimes it's about respect. About favors owed, promises broken, or in this case, protection declined. And soon? That's not a timeline. That's a warning. When investigators traced the phone, it led back to a section controlled by Aryan Brotherhood affiliates. The device was confiscated, and the unit was quietly locked down for a week. Officially, nothing was found. Unofficially, something had clearly happened. A few inmates were suddenly transferred out, quietly, overnight. Among them were 2 names previously linked to Brotherhood activity. For a few days, rumors about a hit list circulated through the halls, and at the top of that whispered list was Alex Murdaugh. Since that leak, Alex's routine has changed again. He no longer attends communal meals. His shower times are shifted to off hours when most inmates are locked down, and guards now escort him in pairs, even for short walks. To outsiders, that might sound like privilege. But inside McCormick, this kind of isolation means only one thing: someone wants you gone. Even the staff seem more cautious around him. They keep their distance, avoid unnecessary small talk. Because in a place where loyalty shifts like sand, no one wants to be linked to a target. Alex was never built for this world. He doesn't have a crew. He doesn't have people on the inside watching his back. The same manipulation and control he once used in court doesn't work here. Behind bars, reputation doesn't save you, numbers do. A few inmates, including the same source Tuck, said Alex has completely stopped socializing. He spends hours pacing his cell, often muttering under his breath, replaying the same legal arguments or talking to himself about his appeal. It's not madness, it's survival. Talking helps drown the silence. Because in prison, silence is never peaceful. It's when you hear the whispers through the vents, the coded messages from other cells, the tapping signals you're not meant to understand. And lately, those taps have been happening more often. The Aryan Brotherhood doesn't move fast. They plan, they wait. Their influence extends far beyond one prison, operating like a network with invisible strings. When Murdaugh refused their offer, it wasn't about defiance, it was about control. His refusal challenged their reach, their ability to intimidate. And that kind of defiance becomes contagious. If one inmate can say no, others might think they can too. That's why, according to insiders, the gang might not want Alex dead right away. They might want him broken first. make him live with fear day after day until he folds. That's their real power. One correctional officer, speaking anonymously, said something striking. They don't have to touch him. Just knowing they could, that's enough. And that's exactly what's happening. Alex's sleep is fragmented. Lights flicker at night. He's moved cells multiple times, sometimes with no explanation. His mail is screened, his visits monitored, and his legal calls double-checked. To him, it feels like pressure from all sides, from the prison, from inmates, even from his own mind. Because when you're cut off from the world, your imagination becomes your worst enemy. Ironically, Alex used to study people like this, criminals under pressure, defendants cracking under isolation. He'd exploit their weakness, use it in court. Now he's living it. It's almost poetic, the manipulator trapped in a system he once mastered. But here, no strategy works. Every move he makes, every word he says, gets twisted into a new rumor. If he prays, people say he's guilty. If he smiles, they say he's plotting. If he stays silent, they call it fear. No matter what he does, someone's watching, and that paranoia is slowly eating him alive. Weeks after that mysterious text leak, another message reportedly made it to the outside, this time through a letter. It wasn't signed, but the handwriting matched someone who'd once shared a block with Murdaugh. The letter mentioned an ongoing tension and a possible setup in motion. But what caught attention was the line near the end. They say his silence cost him more than money ever could. That phrase, cost him, is open to interpretation. But inside the prison world, it usually means one thing. Someone's already paid a price. Whether that means Alex himself or someone connected to him, no one knows yet. McCormick officials, when asked, deny any active threat. They maintain that Murdaugh's placement in a controlled environment is purely for his own safety. But that phrase, his own safety, can mean two different things. Sometimes it means protection. Sometimes it means containment. Because if something does happen to him inside, the fallout won't just shake McCormick. It'll draw national attention again. And the system knows that. Even now, despite everything, some inmates still see Alex as someone with influence. They whisper that he's still connected, that somehow, through lawyers or leftover favors, he can still pull strings. But that belief only adds to the tension. Because if he's still powerful, then hurting him becomes symbolic, a way to show dominance inside the hierarchy. So, in a strange twist, both his name and his past power are now weapons against him. He's caught between two forces, a system that can't trust him and inmates who want to test him. Right now, Alex Murdaugh's appeal process is still ongoing. But inside McCormick, time moves differently. Each day feels longer than the last. Some nights, the hallway lights outside his cell flicker, then stay dark for a few seconds. He doesn't move, doesn't speak. He just listens to the hum of the air vents, the distant clang of metal, and the faint tapping sound that comes from the wall next to his. Whether it's a random noise or a message meant for him, he doesn't know anymore. But deep down, he feels it. Something's shifting again. In a system built on survival, Alex Murdaugh now faces two paths. Stay isolated forever, trusting no one, or take the Brotherhood's offer and trade his silence for safety. Either choice comes with a price, and sources suggest that the Brotherhood hasn't completely given up. They've just gone quiet, waiting for him to reach the breaking point where fear turns into desperation. When that happens, they'll come again, and this time they won't be asking. The story of Alex Murdaugh inside McCormick isn't just about punishment. It's about power, paranoia, and what happens when a man who once controlled others loses all control himself. Outside, the world remembers him as a wealthy lawyer who destroyed his family's legacy. Inside, he's just another inmate trying to stay alive, one refusal away from danger, and one rumor away from chaos. In the end, the law may have sentenced him to life, but inside McCormick, that life might feel worse than death. This is Crime Shade, where we uncover the hidden lives behind prison walls, and the truths no one dares to speak.